Good morning to you guys here. Happy Thursday, April 17th, 2025. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. And we've got a lot of severe weather to talk about today. We've got severe weather for the next 4 days in a row. Significant severe weather today, potentially very, very destructive hail across Nebraska and Iowa. We'll get into that here in just a few minutes here. I want to let you guys know as well, I'm battling some stomach issues here this morning. So that may or may not interfere with our live streaming this evening here. I'm going to definitely be on streaming for you guys later on this afternoon. We'll be covering this event wall to wall from start to finish, but there may be some interruptions in stream. I'm going to try to have that not happen, but just bear with me today, guys. I'm not feeling too well down with my stomach, so we'll get through that as always and get you guys out the door here. I do want to mention what we're looking at here this morning is we do have showers and thunderstorms. We've got an ongoing complex of storms that's been moving through. There's actually a little marginal risk for severe weather in place across Missouri this morning. The system's moving its way out, was producing some pretty decent hail across Missouri and Kansas this morning and early this morning and late this morning here. This complex of storms is now working its way into the southern Ohio Valley here, lower Ohio Valley, going to bring some rain, some thunderstorms to southern Illinois, eastern Missouri, Kentucky. Just going to be a dreary day across this area here today. So just I hope you guys enjoyed yesterday. It was nice and sunny and warm outside. That system will be moving through, and then we'll have the shot for more severe weather, some thunderstorms and some rain across the Ohio Valley in the next couple of days. Our main area of focus today is going to be this enhanced marginal and slight risk zone. The Storm Prediction Center, as I mentioned last night, did upgrade the enhanced risk here for portions of eastern Nebraska and portions of western and central Iowa. I want to make sure that you guys understand the magnitude of today. Today is going to be a hail-driven enhanced risk zone, meaning we could see hail over 3 inches in diameter. That is anywhere from apple size to maybe teacup size hail, a little bit bigger than that potentially as well. I think anything is on the table 3 to 4 inch diameter hail, which is going to cause destructive storm warnings. We're going to get destructive storm warnings more than likely today. We're also going to have the threat for isolated tornadoes, maybe even a strong tornado on the table for today across that enhanced and marginal risk zone here. I wouldn't be shocked to see that enhanced risk actually expand up a little bit or even further east in the next future couple of updates. Outside of that, though, marginal in the green there, yellow is slight and enhanced as orange. All modes of severe weather will be possible. Damaging winds are on the lower side today. Hail and tornadoes are going to be more elevated to scattered and numerous in terms of that. So we're going to break down this forecast for you guys today, talk about model runs, go in depth here. I'm not going to spend too much time again on long range forecasting. We're just going to talk really about the next 4 days. We'll go long range once we get closer to next week and we get a little bit more uncertainty or get more confidence on next week's forecast. So we'll go ahead and dive into that here for you guys, talk about that, and we'll get you guys out the door for today. All right, here, and the Storm Prediction Center does have that level 3, level 2, and level 1 risk here. We should see this marginal risk in Missouri go away on the next Outlook update. I'm not too focused on that little marginal blimp there. Most of that's actually already done and over with. But we do have a marginal risk across portions of Nebraska up into Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Illinois. Slight risk there in the yellow, level 2 out of 5, and level 3 out of 5 for enhanced risk there in 2 portions of Nebraska and Iowa. We are looking at a 5% tornado risk and 2%. I mentioned yesterday there being a 5% being added, and they did add that. I wouldn't be shocked to also see that 5% extend out with a 10% in the middle there. Definitely could still see a strong tornado on the table today if low-level moisture becomes adequate above 50-degree dew point line. So that's something we're going to have to watch. But nevertheless, 2%, 5% tornado risk. Have a way to get a tornado alerts on your phones today. In general, severe thunderstorm alerts. We've also got a 15% and 5% wind threat. 15% there across Nebraska and Iowa, and we've got a 5% outside of that. The biggest risk today is going to be hail, and I cannot stress this enough today. Do not park under underpasses or overpasses or bridges when a hailstorm or tornado is issued for your area, or a warning or something like that. We've seen that happen a lot over the last couple of weeks. That is deadly. That can cause yourself to, you could lose your life that way. And it also clogs up the interstate for people that are driving and need to get to safety, etc. So please do not be doing that. The fact that I have to reiterate that to just common sense to people is just wild to me. But we do have the threat for extremely large hail, and the Storm Prediction Center has mentioned we could see hail in excess of 3 inches in diameter, guys. That is very, very destructive hail. We're also going to have the threat for 60 to 70 mile per hour winds, and a couple tornadoes will be possible. But that 3-inch diameter hail is going to cause substantial damage to cars if your cars are, not protected or covered up, housing, siding, roofing, windows. If there's any way you guys can get it, that stuff, covered up and looked over, that would be your best bet today. Just something that is going to cause potential damage for a lot of people. So hail damage is going to be the biggest threat for today in terms of that. I'll give you guys a model run look at here in just a minute. We'll talk about today and tomorrow in just a second. I do want to mention as well, tomorrow is starting to uptrend for Michigan, Wisconsin. I will talk about this in the live stream today and in future updates tomorrow. But just looking at morning time models, as I mentioned last night in the live streaming and in yesterday's video, I do think that we will more than likely get a small enhanced risk level 3 out of 5 for potentially tornadoes up here in a portion of Michigan. Some of the short range models coming in this morning, at least as of right now, are painting a pretty nasty picture for northern Michigan and eastern Wisconsin tomorrow. So we'll have to watch that. But nevertheless, marginal and slight risk for Friday here. This basically extends from Texas all the way up to Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. I will say a little bit of a question mark on the overall initiation points of our southern and central mode here. I'm more confident on our northern mode, not too confident on our southern and central mode here. The models aren't really showing initiation for storms until after almost 8 p.m. on Friday night. So we're going to have to see if things match up or not. Right now, our troughing, our jet stream is very, very much behind our initial initiation period for our storms. And that's allowing for just a messy mode of convection to develop. We may get some severe weather. We may not see severe weather, but those risk zones are in place. We do have a 2% tornado risk. This covers a pretty big area. I wouldn't be shocked to see a 5% get upgraded here, and I wouldn't be shocked to see a 5% get upgraded down here at some point in the future. But 2% tornado risk within the 25-mile radius of a given point that extends from Texas all the way up into Michigan. We've also got a damaging wind threat at 15 and 5% of 60 to 70 mile per hour winds, and hail threat. And we do have a hatched hail threat, I should say, down here for Oklahoma and northern Texas here for hail over 2 inches in diameter. So today looks to be more serious in terms of the wind and hail, or the tornado and hail potential. We'll see and watch and monitor tomorrow as we go through today here and kind of see if we get any uptrends or downtrends. But right now, I do not plan to live stream Friday's event. We'll talk about that if it needs to be live streamed. And then we get into Saturday. Saturday has also downtrended as I expected as well. We did have yesterday a slight risk that went all the way up into Pennsylvania. That has now downtrended to a marginal risk. We're really looking at more of a conditional storm mode up here, meaning storms may fire, storms may be severe, they may not be severe. We're more concerned, I should say, about down here into Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Missouri, where I even do think potentially maybe an enhanced risk could be on the table, but probabilities are a little bit too far out to determine what we're going to be looking at there. But damaging winds, hail will be the main priority. Dallas, Fort Worth area, Arlington, Plano, Garland, Texas, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Columbus, Ohio, San Antonio, Texas are just some of the areas there. And I'll read more into this later on this afternoon. We've also got another risk zone, guys. We've got a day 4 outlook here, I should say. For Sunday. Also, Sunday looks to be a pretty decent day. The biggest thing that we're having an issue with Sunday's setup, and you guys have noticed, it has not really changed at all for the last 3 days, and that is due to consistency with the models in terms of where severe weather is going to be at. I will say I do think that there is going to be a shift to the northeast. I do think western and central Kentucky, southern Illinois, southern Indiana need to also be watching out for the threat for severe weather on Sunday. Our jet stream could be very favorable. The biggest problem is going to be thermodynamics. We've got wind shear, we've got dew points, our instability is going to be a problem, and that's going to be due to so many severe days prior to this event happening. So when you get a bunch of severe days in a row, you typically use the instability in the atmosphere, and by the time Sunday gets here, we may not have enough instability to work with. Nevertheless, some of the models show that, some do not, and we could be looking at a high shear, low cape day, meaning there could be some tornadoes in and around this area. I wouldn't be shocked to see an enhanced risk once again by the time this risk zone gets closer, but just something to be mindful of. We've got Memphis, Tennessee, St. Louis, Missouri, Shreveport, Louisiana, Little Rock, Arkansas, and Springfield, Missouri in those risk zones there. We'll talk about what we're going to be looking at here for today. We're going to go off our 12Z Triple H horror model run, and you can see the showers and the storms that are kind of bubbling up here later on this morning, or ongoing this morning. Those are going to clear out here, and we're going to have what's called an open warm sector. Now, I want you guys to pay attention here, because yesterday we were talking about storm initiation not until after 6 p.m. It looks like we're going to see storm initiation now well before 6 p.m. Could be as soon as 3. And the storms that do fire off before 6 p.m., especially up here in Minnesota and northern Iowa, will have a chance at some large hail, possibly an isolated tornado or two, and some damaging winds. But the main event isn't going to really get ongoing until after 6 p.m. here. We should see watches issued no later than 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon, but you guys can start to see around 4 or 5, maybe right at 6 p.m. here, these supercells start to bubble up here in western Iowa, portions of eastern Nebraska, and you see these little black tick marks. These are long track updraft rotations, basically meaning that we could see potential for a tornado with this, some extremely large hail. These give us the sign that there is some type of destructive entity going on inside of this these supercell thunderstorms. Typically, more times not, they're hail, but these can lead to potential for tornadoes. And you can see, especially after 6 p.m., these storms just come plowing through Iowa, and where that enhanced risk was extended into Des Moines, we're going to have to watch very, very closely to see how long these cells actually stay mature and latch on to that surface-based instability. With the dew points and the instability that will be in place, we will actually have the chance for storms all the way up till about midnight tonight. So this is going to be a pretty decent duration event. I will say, though, looking after 9 p.m. tonight, most of this should be rain and thunderstorms ongoing in portions of eastern Minnesota. We really should only be seeing severe down here into central Iowa later on after 10 p.m. tonight. Most of this will be just ongoing rain and thunderstorms. So as that progresses through the overnight hours tonight, the severe threat should be very, very low end. Might have an isolated wind or hail event in southern Wisconsin after 1 a.m. But I do want to mention this. That's going to clear out early tomorrow morning. By the time sunrise gets here, that system's gone. It's in Canada. I don't have to worry about it. But I want to talk about something here. Going into Friday's setup, this is my most concerned areas now up here in Wisconsin and Michigan for Friday afternoon. And the reason why I say that is we're going to have a little bit of a stronger surface low. And what that can do is it can enhance low-level shear. And what I want you guys to see here is potentially maybe even a regional tornado outbreak across portions of northern Wisconsin and Michigan. I know it's a little still far-fetched right now to kind of get to that point, but what I'm starting to see is a big uptrend here with multiple supercells firing off in Wisconsin and Michigan right around 3 p.m. on Friday. So we're going to have to watch and see if this actually verifies, and if it's just, one model run, or if we get consistency with this. But this is going to be a problem if you're in northern Michigan and Wisconsin tomorrow afternoon for Friday. Just something to kind of have alerts on your phone. We could even see some destructive hail in some of those areas up there with the shear that'll be in place. I also want to mention to you guys, where's the thunderstorms for tomorrow, right? It looks to be, as I mentioned yesterday, that our cold front's going to come through a little bit late here. And what that's going to do is make initiation a little bit later. And what that can also do is keep tomorrow's threat from being some significant severe weather outbreak. There will be storms firing off. Most of this is going to be wind and hail. You can see a couple complexes after 6 p.m. here on Friday, but the models just are not handling this too well. And that's because of the trough timing that's coming in, or at least they might be handling this well. Could still see some showers and some storms, some severe weather up in Michigan, but it doesn't look like severe weather is going to get going, especially into Kansas and Missouri, until after 11 p.m. on Friday night. So we're going to have to watch this really carefully and see how this progresses. It looks to be mostly a couple complexes could be producing some wind, some hail, maybe even an isolated tornado up and down the risk zone through Saturday morning. But nevertheless, here, the Ohio Valley, a big question mark on what's going to be happening for tomorrow's setup. I will go ahead and transition down here to the upper Midwest as well, or not to the Midwest, but to the southern plains here, and we can get an idea and look at what we're going to be seeing down there. And yeah, once again, initiation very late. You've got this boundary that's in place after 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Storms don't really initiate until after 5 or 6 across northern Oklahoma, eastern Kansas there. They try to initiate. There looks like there's going to be, once again, a capping inversion in place that might keep things at bay until after the sun sets. And once that happens, we should start to see storms initiate. Whether this is severe or just general thunderstorms or rain, we're going to have to wait for more model consistency to come in to show us where that's going to be at. But nevertheless, there will be the threat for severe weather today, tomorrow, into Saturday, and into Sunday. We'll continue to keep you guys updated on that. I will briefly run over our long-range forecast through the end of this weekend and early portions of next week. As I mentioned in the last couple of videos, ridge underneath here of the southern plains, low pressure system. This is what's going to cause our severe weather today, tomorrow, and Saturday. And then our low pressure system coming down out of Canada is what's going to cause our low pressure or our severe weather setup for Sunday's event. Basically, what you're going to see is this jet stream is going to expand across the central plains, the Ohio Valley, the Midwest. We'll have some pretty decent shear in place. A little bit of a timing issue, as I mentioned here. There's a little bit of a gap in our shear through Saturday or Friday night into Saturday here. This could limit some severe weather across the central Ohio Valley and the Ozarks here. Just something to make note of. And then we got our big bowling ball trough that's going to be moving in through Saturday and Sunday here, giving us the threat for all modes of severe weather once again on Saturday night into Sunday here. And on Sunday here, we're really going to have to watch the Missouri Boot Hill here in the Ohio Valley. And the reason I say that is you're going to have this exiting trough, or this divergence zone here, that's going to set up a potential for some damaging winds, some large hail, and maybe even a couple of isolated tornadoes on Sunday afternoon across Easter. So trending north a little bit with that severe weather risk, at least what the model runs are showing for Sunday's event. And I want to keep you guys updated on that because things can change, things can uptrend, things can downtrend. We'll kick that severe weather setup out of here by Monday afternoon. There might be some low-end severe weather on Monday across the Northeast, and then things going into next week, just a little bit uncertain here on what's going to happen, but it does look like we're going to see a zonal flow and maybe even some significant troughing going into the last weekend of April, and then potentially entering May, we could be looking at a more significant outbreak in terms of severe weather. Still really, really far out to kind of get in terms of where we're going to be seeing that at, but we'll keep you guys updated on that here. One more thing I do want to run over is going to be the rainfall totals that we're going to see over the next 5 to 7 days, because this is another significant episode of heavy rainfall, and you can see really through next Wednesday here, we're going to see some significant rainfall values of anywhere from 3 to 5 inches of rain in this corridor here, basically from the northern upper Midwest all the way down to the plains here, anywhere from 3 to 5, maybe even up to 7 to 8 inches of rainfall in some of those isolated areas here. So be mindful, creeks, streams, rivers, just in general, if you're in a flood prone area, be mindful to have alerts on your phones for flood warnings. If you get a warning, seek higher ground, know where to go if you get a warning for any type of severe weather event, but nevertheless, the flooding event needs to be taken seriously as well. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. Stream today on TikTok will start around 3 p.m. Central Time. That is what I'm aiming for. If we need to get on sooner, we will. But other than that, guys, be safe, be weather aware, and we'll see you guys in the next one.